Good evening to the whole entire universe, to the ancestors, to the ancient forefathers. I'm your host, Mikhail Nube.
Co-host Don Blake Jr.
Welcome to the Synergy of Life Holistic Health and Wellness Radio Show, the show that provides scientific, clinical, moral, and spiritual evidence on how to reverse acute, chronic, and autoimmune diseases by successfully removing mental and emotional toxic patterns out of our lives and replacing it with a holistic lifestyle and successfully establishing a true sense of health and wellness. Go ahead, Don Blake Jr.
No. You can follow us on Twitter at SynergyOfLife07. You can like our Facebook page by going to facebook.com/SynergyOfLife. You can call into the show by dial up 914-338-0665. If you don't want to call, you can also email us synergyoflife7@gmail.com. You can chat with us live on Blog Talk Radio by scrolling down to the bottom of the show page and posting your questions or comments. You can find out more about Synergy of Life and other shows featuring on Who Has the Power Radio Network by going to www.whohasthepowershow.com.
Why is you sound all sad?
Hey,
So, we got some haters around here.
all right. Hey, give me a little bit of that music, brother. We about to go into a meditation.
Go ahead.
Before we get off into the subject matter, effective communication.
Yes.
My phone been blowing up all week.
Uh-huh.
I want all you listeners to follow me, take this mental journey with me. For us to effectively communicate, and I don't want to get too ahead of the show just yet, but this show, I want you to take this information. I want you to take this information and apply it to your everyday life while you remain in this body. And understand the keys to healing, the keys to successful meditation, the keys to obtain a higher consciousness. It's only the key to healing. How do we begin to heal? To heal means we have become enlightened. To become enlightened, before I could go on, DJ, I need that music back. I'm MCing tonight. Okay.
All right, cool.
Let me get my Jill Levert, Barry White back. Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, where was I? Okay. Take this mental journey with me. Real talk. Hold on. Take this mental journey with me. The keys to healing is to become enlightened. Enlightened meaning to go beyond the human ego that's connected to one's carnal nature. All right. This is done through self-realization and self-awareness that you are a spiritual being. You are the entire universe manifesting through the human nervous system. when you free yourself from bondage and self-affliction, limitations, you will begin to heal. Understand that. How do we free ourselves from bondage of all sorts and self-affliction, limitations? We must embrace the truth. We must understand and become love. This is how you free yourself from pain, misery, and suffering. The truth should make you free. Free from what, Mikhail? What you on now? The opposite of free is slavery. Free from self-deception. Free from anger, unresolved resentment. Free from all mental and emotional vices. As some of you in America say, this will free you so you can truly become an obedient child of the Most High. What is heal or healing? Heal means spiritual soundness. The word heal is connected to wholeness. Understand the word wholeness is the breakdown of what holistic is, or holiness. Healing is only the memory of your true self. Healing takes place when you remember who the true self is. Meaning your true spiritual makeup and nature. That's who you are. You are a spiritual being. You are not human. The body is human. Look up the word human. It refers to your physical constitution. You are not the body. You have a body. You are not the body. You are a spiritual being. The souls and body are only a guard for the spirit man. We must free ourselves from all fear and doubt in order to heal. One thing that you free yourself from once you heal is the fear of death. And through true self-awareness and enlightenment, you come into self-realization that death is only a created opportunity to recreate yourself again. I know I just went over a lot of people, Western world minds with that. But that's why this is the show of enlightenment itself.
All right, let's cut out the checks, all right? No, okay, let's
Hold on, wait a minute. You can't be messing up the listener's meditation now.
Now listen.
All right. You supposed to come in with a funky scratch after that last part.
It's like you know how you people be like at the
Where's
Thanksgiving dinner.
Where's DJ Jazzy Jeff when you need him?
Man, listen, you know how people be at the Thanksgiving dinner and they're like, okay, I want to eat some of this food, so if you don't stop praying,
all right,
that's what we doing.
All right. All right.
Effective communication.
All right.
What you gotta say? Everybody like, what you gonna say about this?
All right. Well, the first thing to effective communication is they gotta have some patience.
True.
All right. Patience is a virtue. To be impatient is a vice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, before we get all up into what effective communication is, those who follow the show know I gotta lay the groundwork first.
All right.
All right. So.
And you know we on Ustream.tv.
What's up, Ustream listeners?
Yes. We got the executive producer on here.
Big shout out to ATL, that Atlanta.
Texas.
Whoa.
India.
What's up, Nepal, India? What's up?
Me. Tasmania.
I won't know nobody Tasmania. All right.
So yeah,
We gonna now. This how I do for those who just tuning into the show tonight. I have to take in consideration of all different states and levels of consciousness. So I'm gonna work my way from the ground on up, because that is the true nature of evolution. All right. So big shout out to all my Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine practitioners. I'm gonna spit it for y'all. I'm gonna spit it for the urban community. I'm gonna spit it for all these so-called secret society. I got something for everybody.
right.
All right, so I got something for the cats down the way in the hood, Ray and them
Right.
down there.
I don't mess with him no more.
All right. What's the other one name?
Well, who? We got plenty of them.
Kiki and
Falante.
and Junebug, all them,
And Peter.
and all of them.
Yeah.
This show is for all different states of mind.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Communicate it to the wise. How do you communicate to ignorant people versus those who have wisdom? It's different levels, and we talking about effective communication.
Mm-hmm.
One who has true effective communication can do these things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's just do this from elementary up to a higher learning. Give me the definition of effective. But while you looking that up, let me go ahead and start this subject matter. Now, effective communication. Let's break down both words, effective and communication. Communication is the process of sharing information, thoughts, feelings between people through speaking, writing, or body language. For those who understand the science of astrology, which many people think that's voodoo and witchcraft, or the zodiac, but it's ridiculous to think that, because you're taught to sit and believe and think that. If you have a watch on right now, if you have a cell phone or a clock or a VCR or in your car, anything with time on it, the zodiac is how you measure time and space. The astrology, astro, is Latin for star or star logic or star knowledge. If you're looking at a map, you're looking at the zodiac. If you're looking at the human body, you're looking at the zodiac. Agriculture science is governed by the science of astrology and the zodiac. The weatherman, meteorologists are astrologers. Hello. When the weatherman says how much mercury we have today, it's literally talking about the planet Mercury. Why is that? Because the planet Mercury governs the temperature and the atmosphere. But ignorant people, or people who've been taught to be slaves, don't think, because a slave is taught to obey, not to think or reason. That's why we stay in toxic relationships. A toxic mind does not reason. It does not do things from a sound place of peace within. That's why people in America cannot heal with these Western world ideologies. How you think the crops are grown? Farmers plant by the 4 phases of the moon. If you go get a farmer's almanac in the library, it's going to have, it's really a ephemeris. An ephemeris is a planetary almanac, the position of the planets, the degrees, the minutes, and the seconds of their motions in their orbit around the sun. But yet, people who are taught this turn right around and say, "Ooh, look at the stars. It's beautiful out here tonight." But this is not a show about that. The reason why I brought that up, because we're talking about communication. And the planet Mercury, this is for the astrologers out there. The planet Mercury is known as the planet that influences and governs speaking, writing, and communication. Anything that deals with motion. If the sun, which is the furthest planet away from the earth, has all this effect on human life and human activity and nature itself. What makes a person think that the other planets that's actually closer to Earth don't have an influence on the planet Earth and the human activity?
Why?
Well, you stream, tell me that. But effective communication. See, people in America have not experienced effective communication. That's why the Synergy of Life Holistic Health and Wellness radio show on Who Has the Power Radio Network is here to teach you. This is a new era of time now. This is the freedom age that we're in. This is the age of enlightenment that we're in now. People are familiar with what I'm about to say. Many are not. We are now living in the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign. Air governs communication, thoughts, space age technology, computer technology. This is the age of information. Even if you trying your best to stay a fool, you're going to stumble over information anyway. Even though you're not a seeker of it, you shall not find it. You will disrespect it, disregard it. As it say in the book of Proverbs, a fool despises instructions and wisdom and lack understanding. What is effective communication? Well, there's different ways how we communicate. I mentioned through words. I mentioned through the body. We communicate through our eyes, which is part of the body. But to communicate through the eyes, what do people know the eyes to be? The windows to the soul. And a lot of us have not even begun to understand or attain the level of true inner peace because the soul is corrupted. And the soul is corrupted through the five senses. If the eyes is the windows to the soul, America, why do you leave out the rest of the four senses? These are pathways to the soul as well. Hello? You with me, Ustream? You feeling me?
Oh, they do. I feel you.
All right.
I understand.
What is effective communication? And where do we communicate from? Are we communicating from a reasonable sound place within, or are we communicating from a chaos that's within us, that consumes us? Are we communicating from a slave mentality, or are we communicating from an enlightened mind, and it only became enlightened because you have freed yourself? Freed yourself from all these mental and emotional vices that cause acute, chronic, and autoimmune diseases. Free yourself from all these mental and emotional toxic patterns that cause you to stay in toxic relationships with fools, that cause you to keep toxic social circles in your life, that cause you to be just a biological parent. You know, women got this term called deadbeat dads. Right. Well, I got one for a no good mother, a surrogate mother. You just a biological mother having a child, but you not a parent either.
And some of them complain about being a parent.
What is effective communication? And what are you communicating on your everyday basis in your life? Because your words are power. It's three things you can do with this type of power. You can create, you can build, or you can destroy. Which one are you doing with your words? Now, it's a lot of things going on with this subject matter. I wrote down a few notes for myself. This show probably going to go on for 3 weeks. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's so much to this. All right, so are you communicating from your higher self or your lower self? What you on now, Mikhail? Man, what is you talking about?
Of course, they gonna ask that.
Are you communicating from your higher self or your lower self?
Well, start with the higher self.
Are you communicating from what you've been taught to be as God from within? Or are you communicating from the lower self, which people in America call the devil? That's within you as well. Which one you communicate from? And is this effective in your life? The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. The lower self is the carnal self, which is a reflection of the higher self, but it's distorted by the murky ethers of the flesh. The lower self is rich in promises, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives only unrest, misery, and death. It offers apples that's lovely to the eye, pleasant to thy smell, but its bitterness is filled, but its core is filled with bitterness and gall. When you bite into this apple that's lovely to the eye, because you caught up on vanity, you caught up on physical appearances, you caught up on materialistic things, because you have no true self-worth. And this is what you communicate to the world about yourself. So when I say, are you communicating from the higher self or the lower self? The higher self is magnetism. The higher self is positive attraction. The lower self is repulsion. It is rejecting of anything of your own well-being and others as well. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and anything that can cause harm. The opposite of harm is harmony. Without harmony, we harm ourselves and one another. In word, thought, act, and deed. This is how we do this. And this is how spirit man tore himself away from the Most High, through carnal thoughts, words, and deeds. Because we don't understand our ancient forefathers' divine principles, which is love, truth, peace, freedom. And when these four principles are violated, justice must take its course. What is effective communication? How do you affect your life with your communication? How do you affect me or DJ, the other guy, with your communication? How do you affect your peers around you wherever you go with your communication? How do you affect the public with your communication? Remember, we communicate through body language. We communicate, if you on a higher level, with telepathy for real. We communicate with energy, period.
They can feel it.
You don't have to say nothing and your presence is felt, whether it's negative or positive. I'm still into the intro, laying the groundwork. I'm not going to really go into this till after our first break. I'm just provoking thought inside of you as the listener, seeking out enlightenment so you can heal yourself, as I said at the beginning of the intro of this show. But what is the, now before, no, I'm going to wait till after the first break. I'm going to wait till after the first break.
All right.
Can we do a break right now? Because I'm about to Tommy gun on this subject matter.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't want to get cut off. So I want all the listeners, go to the bathroom right quick, get you some water, leave that Kool-Aid alone,
All right.
get you some alkaline in your life.
Pop some popcorn. I don't know. Organic.
I'm your host, Big Al Dubay.
Co-host Down Blake Jr.
Get back at us at the Synergy of Life, Holistic Health and Wellness Radio. So
man.
that's my accent, man.
Oh, man. Take one.
That's my accent.
Do it again.
I talk like that.
Do it again.
Let me
see.
Turn my sucker down. My sucker ringing.
He wants you to speak.
Not talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Hey. Yeah, my sucker was like. That's why I was like this the whole time.
But
I was like this.
but what it is,
Yeah, 'cause this sucker was
you got a better quality mic. That's why you ain't hearing yourself. So
What you say? What happened?
I told the earphones.
no, he's
I
saying
was like,
it's too loud. So he used to that low mic.
Yeah.
So I had a mic. So that's the levels.
it's like somebody like Samuel
Well,
Jackson just screaming in my
you
ear.
speak into it so you can mess with it. 'Cause I don't.
Okay, now which knob? Okay,
It's either
is this one? Okay, which
Yeah.
one I'm in? All right.
Shit, yeah, it is this one.
Testing. All right, cool. Right here.
That's you?
Yeah, this me right here.
Okay, this one is me.
Yeah.
And
'Cause that something was like
Mr.
blast.
Yancey tried to keep it speak up. Make sure you speak.
Oh, okay.
And like whenever you're talking, period, especially when you're doing information. What's up, Ustream? You got that VIP pass behind the scenes with Mikhail Nube, the holistic success symbol. This is he introduced himself.
Down Blake Jr.
Ooh yeah.
The original OG. You get it? OG, other guy.
Yo, aka OG Bobby Johnson up in the house. Big shout out to Big Texas. You know what it is, Big T. You know what it is, Houston.
South Carolina. I don't know nobody in North Carolina, but shout out to them too.
You do know people. We got listeners in North Carolina.
I'm talking about me personally.
You do know.
Ooh.
Why you trying? I ain't trying to get them no favor tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Oh, well, big shout out to them.
Big shout out to the Chicago stepping community in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Big shout out to my homie Erica Little. Keep doing it.
Oh yeah. Who else?
Man, look, this is not a war show. I'm not
Give
about
you
to
the wrap it
play-
up. Give you the wrap it up music.
All right, so
Oh, the 6-month anniversary? No, that's been passed. So essential.
what is this?
Generation.
Oh, okay. Another tab for definition of word.
You done with that?
No, I'm not. I need to go over that. That's why I'm gonna break into the next thing. Let me see. I want to close the show out. The last 10 minutes, I want to do this again. I'm gonna do a little affirmation. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Mikhail Nube.
Co-host Don Blake Jr.
Once again, this is the Synergy of Life Holistic Health and Wellness Radio Show on Who Has the Power Radio Network.
Yes.
The show. Why are you looking at me like I was about to mess up?
I don't know. You full of surprises. The show that provides scientific and
Scientific.
Well, I don't know.
Hold on, man.
Only you can do that. Man, do it. Don't leave it.
This is the show that gives you what you need to hear so you can get yourself together. We're going to keep it like that.
Yeah.
Just to show we say what you can't say, like Bertie Mac say. All right.
Yeah.
We back on the subject matter, effective communication.
Yes.
Now, I'm about to, you ready to, should I AK-47? All right. Okay.
Ready?
Let me take it easy on them. I don't want nobody to think they get the butt whooping.
No, it ain't
All
that.
right. Now, as a practitioner of Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, let me start there because I got my listeners out there. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. You know I had to say something. Like, thank you.
All right. In Ayurveda medicine, Ayurveda mean is the knowledge and the span of life. The knowledge of the span of life. The science of life. Okay. And science in Latin means to know. And know is the prefix of the word knowledge. The knowledge of life. That's all I'm saying to keep it simple. I'm not going to go all long in depth because it's not a class on Ayurveda medicine. somewhat it is. When we talk about communication, you have 7 energy circles known as chakras, meaning spinning wheels. Chakras are literally the anatomy for this other spirit coming into the flesh. So these chakras are developed during conception and birth, and we're talking about communication. So we dealing with the 5th chakra known as ether, or people know it as the throat chakra. That is the blue chakra. In the book of Genesis, the chakras are in there. There are sacred scientific keys, and without these keys, you would never understand biblical scriptures in its full capacity. It's like without these keys, it's like throwing a rattlesnake in a baby's lap. And we're talking about effective communication. See, when you understand these scriptures, you have truly become enlightened and you can heal. Many people sit and fight over this history book, which is the oldest history book on the planet. But yet they don't understand it because they have not healed. That's the proof that they don't understand it itself, hands down. In the book of Genesis, it talk about out of the one river comes the other 4. That is the chakras. Out of ether come air, fire, water, earth. The human body contains these elements. Every cell in the body contains these elements. And chakra governs communication. Communication of what, Mikael? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Well, listener, it's communication of you as spirit man. That is where we communicate from. Even though many are dead to the true knowledge of themselves, you are a spiritual being having a human experience right now. You are a spiritual being manifesting through a human nervous system. But why is that the first part of the body developed through the human brain where the central nervous system is? Hello, message. Now, in order to have true effective communication, you must be open, not closed up, not living in fear and doubt, not afraid to trust. Because what do you communicate in this state? What type of communication do you have living in fear? It is not effective in a positive sense. I'm going to help you with that through these teachings over the next 3 weeks over this subject matter. Now, this is one thing open means, just to keep it simple. Not closed. I guess that's obvious.
All right. I'm bored at the time.
That was a joke. Okay.
Bored at the time.
All right. I don't want to use that.
Go ahead.
All right. Free of obstruction. Free from hindrance. Okay. Think about that. Free of movement or internal, which everything starts and turn inward and moves outward. That's centrifugal or centripetal forces. That's involution and evolution. In order for you to evolve as a spiritual being, you must get involved with yourself. You must be present with yourself. Quit trying to get all this other energy, parasite energy from everybody else, and get into the self. You must know thyself. What is the true self? Self is singular. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that you are a spiritual being. You are the whole entire universe manifesting through the human nervous system. Universe. Una means one. Self. Know thyself means to know the universe. You are a miniature universe. You contain all the elements of nature in this material universe. That's why, especially of those in America that's of Afro-Asiatic descent, look up the word. I'm not going to do all the work for you. Study. Look up the word Afro-Asiatic, because it's more substance than calling yourself African American. For those of Afro-Asiatic descent, you must understand to know thyself. You know what? I'm gonna wait on that. That's too heavy for right now. Let me
Just break it down in layman's terms.
All right. Check this out. To be open is the beginning of having effective communication. Now, there's different levels of effective communication. Mm-hmm. And let me give you an example. Flip back to what we wrote down. Now, far as the components of communication, listen to this. Effective communication begins with encoding or planting seeds properly into the listener, or they will not receive. The ground must be prepared before the corn is planted. The potter must prepare the furnace before he can build his porcelain. Okay? Do the math. Now, effective communication begins with planting the proper seeds, or the skill of relaying a message in a clear, direct way that allows the receiver or the listener to correctly decode or receive the message. Another essential component of effective communication is a skill. It is a skill. Because so many people are having a hard time having effective communication.
Right. You saying one thing, but you really another.
I mean, I'm about to give you from the holistic success symbol and the holistic set symbol. I'm going to tell you what true effective communication is on the highest level. You ready?
Go ahead. We ready.
You ready, brother?
Go ahead.
You really want to have real talk? You want to really have effective communication? In order to have effective communication on the highest level, you must develop divine speech. Real talk. See, many of you have this issue here. Let me role play. Let me give you an example where I'm going with this.
All right. But I thought we really did have an issue.
You can't understand common sense. Why is this so hard for you? This is simple. You made some simple mission impossible. Mm-hmm. Now, you done said something from what you call a place of reasoning or soundness, and maybe you have. Mm-hmm. But you're dealing with a spiritual being who is lost of the knowledge of themselves. You must develop the divine speech, because right now you're talking to carnal men.
So then they're going to take it like a...
You talking to carnal men who have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, because their heart, which is their soul, has been turned to stone. You talk directly to the spirit man. And before you approach spirit man, you must come to spirit man with divine speech. How else I'm going to talk to you? We sit here and say we children of God, mm-hmm. which is the supreme divine being, but yet I come to you with a language that you don't understand.
Right. So of course
it's not effective.
So of course I'm going to be lost.
So why the hell am I talking?
You're just wasting your time, because I'm not going to comprehend whatever you're saying. Right?
Divine speech is effective communication at its highest level. Is my communication inspiring you? Is my communication creating a positive influence in your life? Or is my communication adding to your misery. And people that's miserable, it don't matter. People in misery don't want to see you happy. They don't want no healthy communication. Grief is unmixed and joy wanteth not is alloy of pain. Meaning that miserable people want to stay around miserable people and happy people don't want to be bothered with miserable people.
Right.
Grief is unmixed, meaning we ain't trying to mix this.
And you already know.
Non-smoking section, smoking section.
Right. Right.
To have positive, effective communication through divine speech, one is able to inspire. Inspire means divinely influence. You in the age now, spiritual enlightenment. We cannot have nothing less than that right now. You are bringing children up in the most chaotic times that's been prophesied for how many ages? We are in that time. That's why we say the phrase sign of the times. You are in the book of Revelations right now in this enlightened age known as Aquarius. Revelations mean to reveal and make known. That's why this is called the age of information. You can Google pretty much anything now.
Right.
Even children learning how to make bombs off a smartphone. So we are taking this communication resources and we are perpetually destroying ourselves. There's no effective communication in this. And it starts at conception and birth in the womb of a woman. This is where effective communication starts. Woman shapes and molds the thoughts of the coming of man. She is creating. Most of these females today walk around here and forget that they whole 9 months that they carrying. They act like but you know why? Because they don't know thyself. Because they parents is just biological parents and they lost too, brother. They are stricken with self-inflicted misery, self-inflicted mental and emotional issues, pain. They are self-inflicted with acute chronic autoimmune diseases. Let me translate that for you out there in America. That's why America is the leading cause of death from lifestyle and food-related issues. That is self-affliction. This is not only preventable, it's also totally reversible. But not if you deal with Western world medicine. They teach you how to live with the disease, not the reversal and the prevention of it. So that does not exist in their mind. Their perceptions are limited. And notice in the meditation in the start of the show, I say healing is to heal yourself means to free yourself from bondage and self-afflicted limitations. Well, when you refuse to think, when you despise instructions and wisdom and understanding, that is self-afflicted limitations you put on yourself. You will not grow. You already degenerating on a cellular level and DNA level as a child. And you will not successfully enter the apprenticeship of man and womanhood. So you have a lot of people out here in the appearance of a man and woman, but they're still undeveloped children that has not been raised. When I was a child, I thought as a child. I played as a child. I did things as a child. But when I became a man, I done away with childish things. But I can only do away with childish things if I have successfully grown and developed into the apprenticeship of manhood. You still have a lot of boys around here and girls in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and so on, to the cradle, to the grave. You hear me, sisters? And when I say sisters, I'm talking to every woman of every nationality. Is this one of your main complaints? He still act like a little boy. Because he is. But here's my question to you. And I feel you. Because I don't want to deal with no little girl. Because I'm a man. I got little girls that I'm raising. They're not little no more. You gonna be my wife or my adopted daughter? Which one you gonna be? Okay.
Wow.
But let me say this, sisters. Remember I mentioned at the earlier of the show, patience. Am I telling you to have patience with foolishness? Hell no, I ain't telling you that. What I'm saying to you is this. We talking about effective communication. And I'm going to use myself for example. And I ain't bragging. I'm just keeping it real. Because I am a teacher. I'm a model. I'm a mentor. I've been around many sisters and the ones that I attempted to have a relationship with that still is not ready for a relationship to this day with no one. But when I was in their life, and I still am in their life, because I made a powerful impact in their life through effective communication. They would never forget me. In fact, their standards now have changed, but they must become the standards they have learned while they was with me.
Right.
They can't have me again. You can't come after me unless it's me again reincarnated. That's the only way you gonna get me again.
You better not come with that same BS.
You can't come after me, fellas. Only me could come after me again. You can't come after me in this carnal state. I said it, whatever. What I mean is this. While I was in their life, physically, at that time, in their presence, I made a powerful impact through effective communication. And what they found out, brother, they met their lower self. They didn't know about the lower self. Like many people don't realize about the powerful nature of parasites inside of them until they become aware. Then they start feeling the effects. It's like having a cut on you. You didn't feel till you became aware of it. And see, I hear all these spats and conflicts with couples. I work a holistic life coach a lot of couples, and the simplicity of the problem is totally overlooked because they both lack communication. Because they are communicating pain and unresolved anger and resentment. That is not love. Because they didn't have a model for that. That's why they can't heal. You cannot heal on a cellular level without love. You can't heal in no shape, form, and fashion without love. And those who just tuning into the show this week, we just did, was it 4 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks on what is true love.
Right.
And let me do my Jerry Springer final thought.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. The conclusion that I gave the listeners to what true love is. Love is the highest level of consciousness as spiritual beings that we must obtain to return back to the true identity of what we truly are. Notice I mentioned in the beginning of the show that when we heal, to heal is only us regaining our memory of our true self and our whole state, our spiritual nature. Just because you go to a church, synagogue, or mosque don't make you spiritual. Your physical attendance there do not make you spiritual. Most of these places is social clubs for you. You have not become spiritually enlightened until you participate and engage in spiritual knowledge that will give you the opportunity to become enlightened of the true self again. And it's done through divine speech. Why are you a spiritual being talking to me less than that? Let me say that again. If you know that you're a spiritual being, why are you talking to me in a language that is a lower vibration than that which you are? Why do I hear the tongue of fools? Message? Because you do not know thyself. So quit bragging about you're a Muslim. Quit bragging about you're a Moorish American. Quit bragging about that you're a Christian, Methodist, a Mason, a Protestant. Because in y'all set claim thinking you so different. But all of you have the same Western world lifestyle, have the same Western world toxic lifestyle, have the same Western world standard American diet, have the same acute, chronic, autoimmune diseases, and even go to the same hospital. And think y'all so different.
They're gonna mess around, they're gonna go to the same funeral.
They already dead, brother. Spirit man cannot die. They already mentally and emotionally dead. And this is what you communicate publicly and privately. I'm still provoking thought before I break down heavily what effective communication is. I'm stirring up the ethers inside of you. What is effective communication? Now, I mentioned earlier body language. I sit here and tell you, there's nothing wrong with me, but my body, my hands is tense. I'm slapping the table. I'm slamming doors. Oh, there's nothing wrong. I'm giving you the evil eye. So my body language and my verbal communication is not consistent with one another. That is not effective communication. What are some of the popular phrases so-called biological parents are saying to their children? I said biological parents, meaning a true parent is a guide, a mentor, a teacher. Many people are just biological parents. There are none of these things to their child. They think BET and cable, Time Warner supposed to raise their child. They think the school teacher's supposed to raise their child. We ain't nothing but a pack of fools raising them.
Can I say me?
Me what? As
Me.
in what?
As a person.
Well, explain yourself.
Well, you know I work with kids. So you know I'm a style. So can I say that?
No. So, one of the things is your communication.
What?
Is your communication effective, so-called parents, when you tell your child, I pay the bills. Why you can't get good grades? I put Jordans on your feet. You got that Sean John going on.
True.
You got that Rockefeller. You can't go get good grades. So what did I just communicate to that child? That money
Right?
is supposed to be the answer
Supposed to buy
to their
what they
ability to express themselves intellectually, morally, and spiritually, and by principle. This is what I just communicated to that child. All my sisters, all the women out there, I want you to listen to this. You always ask this question about carnal men. Quit saying men. Your communication is poor as well. Identify the person as they are. When you're a woman saying all men,
You just put all the
you a fool. You just downplay your own. You just expose how you lack self-awareness yourself, because it's not all men. Maybe it's just the men you deal with.
and vice versa.
It's not all men. It's carnal men. Quit being resentful and filled with anger and think. But you know how you really think? Straight. Straight without inconstancy. Straight with certainty. Straight without fear. I'll tell you when we come back from our break.
Right.
This is just the introduction tonight. The next 2 weeks, we going to break it down. I'm provoking thought tonight. I'm shaking you up tonight.
We just cutting you up. We ain't dissecting you.
Now, we're going to go deeper into this. Once again, I'm your host, Mikhail Nube.
Co-host Don Blake Jr. Going to church for the wrong dang reasons. To find a man or woman. Ain't that about some bull crap.
Oh.
You know,
Every
they
one
got
of the
some,
waters.
you know they got some good men out there. You know they got some good women out there in church. But your head
That ain't what the sisters tell me.
How many waters are left in there?
You want one? Oh, just the last
The
one.
sisters tell me in church that it's so many down low brothers in the church. This is why a lot of sisters are more open now to seeing people that's not only not in their church, that's not in no church. They just want to. They realizing what a man is not, and realizing what a man is not, they finding out what a man is. They know a man ain't this. They know a man's not that. Cause man, I'm telling you, it ain't one sister I ain't talked to yet that go to a church. They said it has become a problem. It's no heterosexual men in the church. It's not enough, and the ones that's there, they troubled with something in life, and there's a few good brothers here and there, but they with the wrong sisters.
Right.
They in toxic relationships.
Yeah, they got problems of their own.
Ustream, we on a quick break. We be back from commercial 2 minutes or less. You kicking it with us behind the scenes. Just stay tuned. Just bear with me. I'm climaxing. I'm about to drop it on y'all. So you gotta stay with me because I'm smooth with this.
That I didn't know.
What'd you say?
That I didn't know.
Let me say.
I remember I was going to
Let me say this with their words. This is regular. This ain't nothing uncommon no more. It's not something you say for real. No, it's regular. And you know what the comedians say about brothers in our race that's homosexual. They the most flamboyant gay person, and that's true. They out here.
Like, hi. Right. We going back? We coming back?
Welcome back to the Synergy of Life Holistic Health and Wellness Radio Show on Who Has the Power Radio Network. I'm your host, Mikhail Nube, the Holistic Success Symbol.
Co-host Don Blake Jr., the original OG. OG, the other guy. Get it? Other guy. OG? No.
All right.
Go.
All right.
Let's get it.
Welcome back to the show that provides scientific, clinical, moral, spiritual evidence
Oh, now you want to
on
say
how
it.
to remove
Now you want to say it.
your chaotic life from mental and emotional toxic patterns that creates acute, chronic, and autoimmune conditions.
Can I say
And we do this by successfully establishing a holistic lifestyle, a fulfilling true lifestyle, and as well as establish a true sense of health and wellness. What was you going to say, brother?
I'm about to say that one of the things for, effective communication, people that lacks it is because, you have technology out right now. So a lot of people using technology or their form of communication. So
Well, here's the problem with that. I know what you're saying. But it goes back to parenting. It goes back to the lack of knowledge of self, regardless of technology, because technology is man-made, brother. So that is a form of evolution itself in our abilities as human beings and having a human experience. We developing these things. That is not the problem. It becomes a problem when that is substituted for parenting. And that's what's happening now. Here, get out of my face. People substitute parenting for materialistic things.
Right.
Because they lack the ability to communicate as the parent, which is the teacher, the guide, the mentor. Mm-hmm. They supposed to teach their child the knowledge of self. Right. There's nothing more greater you can teach your child. In fact, what else is you supposed to be teaching? It is nothing else. Because when I say that, that sums up everything. Right. If you understand past lives, that includes that as well. And the future. Mm-hmm. The ancient future.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
When I say the knowledge of self, I'm talking about everything and beyond your petty carnal human comprehension. I'm talking about beyond this material realm. I'm talking about simply the source from which all things come from which all life is sustained on all 7 planes of spirit life. Effective communication is your ability to receive the knowledge and blessings from your ancient forefathers as well. I'm going somewhere else with this now. You thought I was going to be talking about you and your little funky toxic relationships? Huh? Man, come on now. This is Synergy of Life Holistic Health and Radio Show. We going beyond that. Mm-hmm. You got to raise your thoughts to infinite wisdom. We have to watch the things we say to these children. This is why this generation is the first and last generation, for example, who life expectancy is shorter than the parents and grandparents because of poor communication. Mm-hmm. We communicate falsehood to these children. Then we got the nerve to say, boy, these children these days. No, these your children.
Right.
They're the offspring of the past generation. They are a reflection of your failure to communicate the knowledge of self. We create our adulthood in our childhood. What did you do as a child? Think back. Wow. Think back. And let's get into this. Did most of your learning did most of your learning that is effective and influential in your life in a positive way come from your parents, whoever your guardian was? I don't care if it was an adopted parent, whoever was your appointed guardian. Did all the things you learn positive? Did most of it come from your guardian or outside the household?
Say mostly outside the household.
Why?
Because that's where I spend most of my time.
Okay. Why did I don't care where a person spend time at? I'm getting that some. You almost there. Right. Why did? Okay, let me get straight to it. Who was responsible? Who had guardianship of you?
My father.
So.
Well, my father is my sister. Well, my father.
So he was responsible to parent you.
What?
So why did your teachings on life even to this day? Now I'm gonna stay far as childhood. Mm-hmm. We are supposed to learn on our journey through life, through whoever is appointed from on high to teach us. Now I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about while we are still children growing and developing, what's supposed to be growing and developing. Most children in these days don't have that blessing because they don't have a parent to do that for them. But I'm talking about during our childhood when we have a appointed lawful and legal guardian. Why is this person who is appointed custody guardianship is not teaching the child. What are they communicating to this child at 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 9 to 12 months, a year to 2 years, 2 years to 3 years, and so on to puberty and through the teenage years? What have they communicated to their child consistently? And has this communication been effective in their child's life? Or has it been non-effective? We know what it's been. Look at society. Let me see that body language we put down. Now, body language is a component of effective communication and is known as nonverbal communication as well. Body language includes posture, position, arms, hands, different body parts, etc., eye contact, facial expressions. Body language is consistent with verbal content improves understanding, while the body language that is inconsistent with what is said. I mentioned that earlier. Look at the body language of the children today, wearing $100 pair of jeans down to the knee and below the knee, walking on the bottom of the pants.
Right.
What is they communicating to the public? Now, I'm gonna tell you what people in jail say. What that communicates. Men in jail that sleep with other men and rape other men say that when you wear your pants down off your butt in jail, you are communicating that you want somebody to get you. That is the official jailhouse signal.
Right.
But do you know by design, this was created for this generation to end up in this state? Now, I ain't gonna let these parents off because they're responsible. No son of mine, I don't give a care if he 25, 35, will not wear his pants off his butt. And I do not say something and teach, not say, but effective communication is to teach enlightenment. There's nothing more effective than that. If you approach communication less than that, you will never have effective communication, because we are spiritual beings. Is you talking to me as a human? Well, you already have failed. Only thing human is body. Look up the word human right now while you on this radio listening. The word human, you're going to see the human anatomy. You're going to see arms, legs, body. You are not the physical body. You have a body, but you are not the body. So quit saying you just human. When you say you are human, welcome to why you are sick. Welcome to why you are prone to illness and disease. Because anytime you disconnect yourself from the source that sustains all life, you should be sick. You should be miserable. You should experience acute chronic autoimmune diseases. You should be a hot mess. You should have failure after attempt relationships. You should be all. You ain't supposed to be happy when you disconnected from the source. What you thought? Only a fool would think that. And we talked about this last week about why it's 80+% of women of African descent single in this country. And one of the things on the list was unrealistic expectations.
Right.
Well, you unrealistic, period. If you think you're supposed to be happy and have prosperity, which comes through spiritual obedience, and you have disconnected yourself from the source from which all things come, that you got the nerve to ask for, and many of you think God is some ATM machine. Give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. I want this, I want that. But when you get to the spiritual teachings, it's thy good is thy power. The want of good is evil. Beware. Beware, young man, of all the allurements of wantonness. Remember that? When you caught up into wanting, you are easily enticed by the lower self, the carnal self, the bodies of desires. You are easily tempted by anything. You will sell your soul for a morsel of bread, which means a crumb. In all this and everything we learn, good, favorable, unfavorable, comes through communication.
Right. That's how you express yourselves.
When I see children who become legally adults, because the Western world, through revised code ordinance and state legislation, say you are an adult at 18, but you're not an adult in terms of morality and principle. You're not a man or a woman in terms of knowledge of self. That's why you have so many immature males and females. There's a difference between the male and the female and the man and the woman. Now, let me inform some of you out there who don't know this in medical law. In medical law, which carries over to the courts, says this, and this is real talk right here. You are a man and a woman when you become a man biologically and a woman biologically when you enter puberty. Did y'all know that? No, you didn't. Because a boy cannot produce a baby. A little girl cannot make a baby. Only a woman's body can get pregnant. Only a man's body can develop a sperm that can impregnate the woman. That's why you have this term, babies having babies. But so in reality, let me translate that. What is meant by that? You have immature men and women having babies. Because in the Eastern world, you enter adulthood at the age of 12. But here in America, our health is shot to hell. And your health is a big part of you being a man or woman. And woman and manhood and health and sickness are all states of mind, are all levels of consciousness, and that produce different states of being in our life. Your communication does this as well. What is effective communication? Effective communication is when you identify yourself by your real name. The power of your name is beyond your pedal carnal comprehension. What do you answer to? What are you known as? And I got to say this because this is the show we say what you can't say. Many people here in America name their children ridiculous things. What I mean by that, I am not talking about the name or the pronunciation of the name. I am talking about what the name simply means. What is my name? I'm every bit of my name from the beginning to the end. First, last, and middle name. I am the living manifestation of my name. I communicate that through my walks of life. I communicate what a Mikael is. I communicate what a Kelly is. I communicate what New Bay is through my walks of life. Effective communication means you do not answer to names that are not who you are. Many mothers name their children because it sounds cute and not name the child by their sole purpose here in life. Your name is your identity as you as a spiritual being and your life task. And you only receive your blessings when you adhere to your life calling. Why do we answer to names that allude to the principles of slavery? Man, it's why you say nigga?
Oh, nigga.
Do you know this is a slave label? But black, color, and Negro is too. And nigga could derive from the Latin word nigga, Negro. So just because it say Negro, you saying the origin of where the word nigga come from. What is effective communication? I'm gonna show you how we still got this slave mentality. What I say last week or the week before, or to all the Europeans? I said, long as my people want to answer to this, call it.
Called it, right.
They ain't got a problem answering this. They don't have a problem putting it in every line in their rap song.
Right.
They damn sure ain't got no problem calling me and you that.
Right. But it's a problem when they call.
When somebody called them that. So let me give you an example, listeners. I name you Leroy. Everybody else can call you Leroy, but not the person who gave you the name. Can't call you Leroy.
Right.
So you say, why you get mad when somebody call you this?
Right.
That's of European nation. When you understand the history and the nature of this word you communicate with, comes from it. That was a label given to you by the people you want to call racist, but yet you still use it and answer to it to this day. And you want to talk about effective communication?
Right. That's jacked up communication.
Huh?
That's jacked up communication.
You affirm through your everyday words. Watch your thoughts come from your words. Watch your words come from your actions. Your words produce your actions. Your actions come from your everyday thoughts and words. Your actions produce your habits, whether they're negative or positive. Your habits produce your character, and your character produces your destiny and will determine your present condition in life. You want to change your present condition? Backtrack back to your stinking thinking. Now check this out.
Go ahead.
Cat Williams, and if he got a problem with him, say he can call. Give him the number.
914-338-0665.
Because I'm not these niggas he be dealing with. Okay? You dealing with an enlightened spiritual being. Why Cat Williams, and I like Cat Williams, his comedy when he not angry, but why you want to get on Jamie Foxx about taking the role in Django? He said he was offered the role. He turned it down. And
He was offered the role?
That's what he said. Look, check this out.
Wow.
He say, how can he take that role? Because it said the word nigga 176 times, and how many times he said in his whole life. You hang out with Snoop Dogg and everybody else who used this word. This is what they communicate. We talking about effective communication, but we still claim the names that allude to the principles of slavery.
What?
And we think we free.
That's wild.
This is what I meant by in order for us to heal, we must free ourselves from bondage and self-afflicted limitations. Whatever I communicate myself to be, whatever I identify myself as, I take on the state, status, and condition of what I'm identifying myself with. So I don't want to be known and called a nigga, but I'm going to call myself that.
Right.
And I'm communicating to you that this is okay. Now, what's that singer? Was she a rapper or a singer? What's that lady I asked you about earlier?
She's a rapper. She's a rapper. Iggy something.
Look on that bookmarks up there. You know what we talking about?
Iggy Azalea.
Iggy Azalea. Did you hear about she in the media because she used the N word? Did you hear about that?
No.
You know what she said? Why she say the same thing I said on the show last week? She said, y'all said it was a term of endearment. But look, check this out. She's saying what I'm saying now. They had other Europeans commenting on this. Then why y'all use it? This is the number one question all you Caucasians want to know. Why do you use it if it's so bad? I don't want to hear nothing about you say Nigga. You sound like an idiot. Mm-hmm. We don't say Nigger.
They say.
Well, let me tell you this. Since you're trying to con yourself out of being free. The word Ngga wouldn't exist if you didn't know about the Nigger. Stop playing games with yourself, because you can't play them with me. You're talking to an enlightened mind who has exalted himself beyond these carnal things that you still enslaved to.
I got it.
Do you wonder why you in toxic relationships over and over and over and over again? You want a successful relationship? Hear me. I'm about to tell you the keys. Some of y'all don't want to know. Y'all just nosy. Y'all need something else to complain about.
Mm-hmm. No, I got it.
If you want to have a successful relationship, you must have effective communication. What is effective in communication, Mikhail? I hear you talking all this and that. Well, what you gonna say now? Effective communication is first of all, communicate the truth. Communicate the real you. And if the real you do not qualify for you to have all these beautiful things that you communicate out your mouth, you need to work on yourself. You have to be what you want in life. What you got there?
Sure, well, basically she said, so you allowed to say nigga because you're black, yet I can't say it. The word nigga is different from nigger. Nigga is used to describe someone who is ignorant. Ignorant, sorry. I don't know why it's such a problem when white people say it. When black people know damn well that's the majority of the people saying it aren't even saying it be, right, not to be racist or whatnot.
All right, so look.
But most racists don't say nigga.
You know what? Racism is deeper than this word. True racism is when you teach a people to hate themselves, brother. Mm-hmm. And it don't just start with that word, and it don't stop with that word. What did the letter? You ever read the letter from the Ku Klux Klan that was literally put in the newspaper? Pull that up, brother. We want to talk about, in order to know what effective communication is, listeners, you must know what it is not first. Let's identify that. So, you want now while he's pulling that, let me finish on this relationship and true friendship, which starts with friendship. Everything starts with friendship. The root meaning of the word friend is love, and the word ship is the vessel that reciprocates this love between two or more parties. Communication, you cannot communicate in fear and doubt if you want effective communication in relationship. You cannot communicate from anger, resentment, fear, misery, or any type of mental or emotional wounds, especially from childhood. If you want effective communication in your life and how we speak, how we write, how we carry ourselves in public, physically. You hear this all the time, women. What I'm about to say. You don't want nobody to call you a certain things that reference to you being a loose woman, but yet you dress like this. What are you communicating through your body language?
And you know the kids is looking at that.
But everybody's looking at it. Why I see little girls on the social media twerking all the time, and you hear the mothers giggling that it was taping it.
Yep.
What are you communicating to the child? Then when, hold on, before you read that, quit spoiling these children. You are, that is destructive communication taught early on to the child. Spoil means the ruining of one's character. So this is why this child get a reality check when they come out of society. Because they think the household supposed to be the rest of the world. They get spanked out here. So we're going to continue this subject matter. Once again, I'm your host, Mikhail Nube.
Don Blake Jr.
Come back to the show after our break. Bring that over here somewhere. What's this?
Love that raising children. Love is basically raising children, remember? Love, that's how you raise your children.
Oh, I see. I can't remember how I said it. Hold on. Oh, okay.
Remember we were talking about
gender.
Gender, yeah.
Okay.
I mean 4,000 black people till 1975. You are doing future black doctors, lawyers, this that we want to the people. The good thing about it is that you're killing the youth. You are. You don't have to worry about the generation to come. You further like to thank you for the judge. You are going to basically get back, go back. Come in on that. Come in on that.
Come in on that. I'm gonna start from here.
Oh, no, that's commercial. XL. You know?
Yeah, I know it. Welcome back to the Synergy of Life Holistic Health and Wellness Radio Show. I'm your host, Mikhail Nube.
Co-host Don Blake Jr.
Today's topic is what is effective communications. It's just an intro tonight to provoke thought. This subject matter will carry over to the next 2 weeks, and we're gonna the show gonna climax every show we do this subject matter. Every moment of the next 2 weeks. I left off talking about it is ineffective communication when we spoil children, for example. We are communicating a false ideal of what life is about when we spoil the child. And the child communication is a reflection of our inability to communicate what true life and life status and consequences are, as well as blessings. Many of us don't even know what true blessings are, due to the fact that our true blessings only come through spiritual obedience. You got to understand that. You got to keep it real with yourself. In my chapter, and I have a chapter in my upcoming hit selling book, The Holistic Garden of Healing. That's the name of the book. The garden is a metaphor for the soul. But in the book, I talk about your spiritual bank account. And our life savings are blessings. We should be able to withdraw from our savings account of blessings at any given time, because blessings have to be constantly circulating in our life, but it comes through our continuous obedience and morality and virtues. That's where it comes from, which is the path to spiritual enlightenment. You can't keep getting something for nothing. Like Chris Tucker said on Friday, you ain't put in on this, man. How you think no deposit, no return? What are you communicating to your children even today? I don't care if your child's 25 or 45. What are you communicating to them? Did you go back and correct your many errors that you made after you raised them incorrectly through your communication issues alone? My sisters, to every woman out there of all nationalities, if you add anger and resentment in you, you are communicating this and instilling it in your child through energy. You don't have to move your lips. You're doing it through energy. Why you think these children is so ignorant of what you're teaching them? They know you better than you know yourself. A child that's 1.5, 2 years old will whine and cry till you give them that killer sugar. Because now your child has developed a chemical, a code and emotional dependency because you taught this to them. They have inherited your foolishness. They have inherited your poor lifestyle and diet, which creates the disease. They did not inherit the disease, because the disease itself starts with your stinking thinking. These are learned behavior patterns that's established on the DNA and cellular level. Our communication patterns are established on the DNA and cellular level. Who is your teacher right now in life? What is teaching you? What teaching do you follow in life? Because that's what's teaching you how to communicate right now, today.
Well, thank you, Mikael, for teaching me.
This is a letter from the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, yeah.
This is a real letter.
Yes.
From the Ku Klux Klan. And I'm going to read it. All right. The Ku Klux Klan would like to take the time to salute and congratulate all gangbangers for the slaughter of over 4,000 black people since 1975. Now, this letter is old. This letter is from the late 70s, early 80s. You know that number is way more than this right now.
Right.
You are doing a marvelous job. Keep killing each other for nothing. The streets are still not yours, nigger. It is ours. You are killing each other for our property. you are killing what could be future black doctors, lawyers, and businessmen that we won't have to compete with. And the good thing about it is that you are killing the youth. Pretty soon, we will be able to go back to raping your women because all the men will be gone. So you gangbangers, keep up the good work. We love to read about drive-by shootings. We love to hear how many niggas get killed over the weekend. We can tolerate the niggers jungle fever for now because that further breaks down the race. To all gangbangers across the world, we don't love you niggers, but we can appreciate you gangbangers. You are doing a wonderful job in eliminating the black race. Without the men, your women cannot reproduce successfully. Unless, of course, we do it for them. Then we will have successfully eliminated a race thanks to your help and commitment to killing each other. And most of you niggas, gangbangers who cannot read this letter, it's okay. Go back to pulling the trigger and kill a nigga. Thank you. Now, it's more to it than that. I'm just going to stop right there. And you still going to communicate this word and answer to this word. Most black colored Negro, so-called black colored Negro people don't even know their history. And I ain't talking about no Dr. King. I'm not talking about no Rosa Parks sitting on no bus. Your history don't start here in the United States. The United States is barely over 200 years old. So how do you think your history start in the founding of the United States? It doesn't. It does not. But you communicate false history of yourself. That's why your communication is not effective. Did you know that you only 3/5 of a human being and others in the Constitution of the United States? Because you keep answering and communicating the word black, color, Negro, which is unconstitutional. You are legally and lawfully outside of the constitutional fold by identifying yourself with labels and names that allude to the principle of slavery. Black, according to science, means death. Color means anything that's painted, stained, varnished, or dyed. Look up the word black. Look up the word black. And look up the word white. There is no such thing as black and colored people. Black and white are adjectives. A noun is a person, place, or thing. Person, place, or thing. Noun. Person. Chinese man named Liu Kang. Place. China. Beijing. Hong Kong. Thing. Chinese food. Black describes my people condition. Sure enough. True that. But it does not describe you as a man. One thing man mean is intelligent thinking being. Every man has a free national name. Every man is a true member of a true nation that has a constitutional government. Every man has a flag they can point to and say, this is my flag of descent. This is my flag of birth. This message is to all of those. We talking about effective communication. You better quit calling yourself African American. There's no such thing. Africa is a continent. North America is a continent. In all constitutional law all over the world, in all 7 continents, in all governments, there is no continental flags. It's only 7 continents. That means if it was a such thing as continental flags, it would be only 7 flags in the world. It's only flags of countries. Africa is a continent composed of many nations. Which one do you descend from? This is why people here in America who call themselves and communicate that they're African American, when somebody asks them what's your nationality, they say, huh? African American? No, it's no such. African American was just recently created, less than 50 years ago. What is your nationality? Why does it say in the Constitution of the United States that the black colored Negro is 3/5 of a man? That's a fraction, 3/5. So it's two things that's missing from you that makes you a man. The 3/5 that remain with you is that you have a body, you have a soul, you have a spirit. Can nobody take that from you but you? You lose that through the knowledge and lack of the knowledge of yourself. Yeah, you a spiritual being, but you're not conscious of that. Because you say, I'm only human.
Right.
So you lost that you're a spiritual being having a human experience. Because this is what you communicate.
Right.
The soul is only the ether of the spirit plane vibrating not so fast. It's a lower vibration of the highest plane of spirit life. And the body is a manifest of the soul. It is a guard. The two things that's missing is nationality and religious creed and principles. That's why you call 3/5 of a man in the Constitution. But this is what you communicate. That's why in slave movies you see that my people, not me, our people was called a boy. It wasn't a disrespectful term. Legally, you had to be called a boy because in order to be called a man, you had to have the rights of a man. You had to have the knowledge of yourself and your ancestry. That means you operated within the constitutional fold. So because you did not know thyself, you was exiled. All nations must worship under their own vine and fig tree. And every tongue must confess its own. Through sin and disobedience, all nations suffer slavery due to the fact they honor not the principle and creed of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774. And the words Negro, black, and color was given to those of Moorish descent. Because they honor not their mothers and fathers and strayed after the gods of Europe who they knew nothing of. Why is it that your mother birth certificate say black? Your grandmother birth certificate say color. Her grandmother say Negro. But y'all the same bloodline?
Right.
Why? How many times you gonna change as a so-called person? You don't know who you are.
And now it says African American. Now, so
man,
is that true?
People here that call themselves black colored Negro is lost, brother.
I'm talking about on the birth certificate. They say they put African American now.
Whatever they put in is incorrect.
Right.
And when you falsely identify yourself, you falsely communicating to the world on who you are. But you deal with the consequences of that. Old Rakim, a legendary MC. A lot of people think Eminem said this, but Eminem paid homage to Rakim when he say, Rakim is the first artist on Def Jam who made over $1 million, who had $1 million contract signing. That's a little hip hop history from a hip hop practitioner who understand the 9 elements of hip hop. But Rakim say this, cause I am whatever I say I am. And if I wasn't, then why would I say I am? Why am I calling myself something and I'm not the living manifestation of what I say I am? That's not effective communication. Effective communication starts with the knowledge of yourself. Effective communication in a relationship, friendship, social circles, in all walks of life starts with the knowledge of yourself. Effective communication is sustained through the practice of preventive health care. Effective communication is established once you heal yourself from your self-inflicted mental and emotional physical wounds from your toxic lifestyle and toxic diet. That's when effective communication will begin for you. If you're sick, what you gonna communicate? You gonna communicate from a sick, wounded mind. I'll give you an example of that. A person will run down their whole life history of their chronic and autoimmune disease. I got diabetes. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I got lupus. I got all forms of heart disease and associated conditions. But then I say, for the most part, I'm healthy.
Like, right.
What the hell? Wait a minute.
Right.
But you healthy. So what did on the Boondocks, what did Uncle Ruckus say? He said that this particular person we talking about will use words that don't know what they mean. Effective communication means quit using words you don't know what they mean. Do you know this black colored Negro, or what you call nigger problem, is affecting the weather conditions? You affecting the ecosystem on Earth for real. But that's how powerful you are, even in your darkest states. My sisters, you wanna end your problems in having attempted failed relationships with men who don't know how to communicate? I'm about to help you right quick. Quit trying to form a holy covenant with worldly carnal men. A lot of you think you're married and you're not. A lot of you have successful weddings from a Western world point of view, but you have never established a true marriage / holy covenant with this person. That's why you and the man are constantly at each other in a confrontational way. You cannot marry somebody with a toxic lifestyle and think you're going to have a holy covenant. Please. This is just the intro tonight on this subject matter. Next week, I'm digging in. I'm cutting open. I'm coming with the scalpel.
You dissect.
You cannot have effective communication with carnal men. Now, what you can do is develop divine speech and speak to their heart. And when I say their heart, I ain't talking about in the left side of their chest. That's physical. That's a fleshly organ. Heart means the center of all things. And the organ that lies slap dab in the middle of your body is your brain. And that's where the soul resideth at. I know this is big much for some of you listeners. But how can you elevate from the same state of mind that you're in? Something higher got to come and pop you in the head. The soul, the heart of man is the soul. And the actions of the soul is thinking, understanding, reason, and will. Call these not the actions of the soul, but they are its essence. Communicate to the ignorant for their instructions. Communicate to the wise for thy own improvement. It's a different way you communicate to the ignorant versus those who have wisdom. You're going to communicate two different ways, two different styles, two different levels. But are you able to do that? Quit complaining. Quit communicating your emotions. Communicate yourself as spirit man, sisters. Because that's the only way you're going to get to this brother. I'm going to give you a prime example. A lot of you sisters was with somebody and he acted out on you. He was wrong. He did you wrong. But yet you see him and he get his life together. Now he's married. He's successfully, truly married. He's happy. He's more mature. And you say, I put all this time and energy and working in him. Why wasn't he like this with me? Because you catered to his lower self. You did not cater. You did not touch. You did not get to him, the true self, the higher self. It's not gonna get no simpler than that. The higher self is attraction. It is magnetism. The lower self lacks magnetism. It lacks attraction of positive things, that is. For those of you who are not familiar, for those who are familiar with the documentary known as The Secret. The secret is you. The secret is enlightenment. The secret is the power of your words. Your words have magnetism. And one of the key things it mentioned on this documentary is quit focusing on what you don't want in life, because that's what you're going to get. That's where you're putting your focus at. Start focusing on what you will need in your life. Don't separate your needs and your wants, because it's your wants without your true needs. Your wants alone is what's going to get you in trouble. Your wants without mental and emotional boundaries established by virtues. You want effective communication. You want to be successful in establishing this, you have to make your no mean no and your yes mean yes. Are you consistent when you say no? No. You say one thing and do another. Why is this subject matter so hard, especially in a relationship level? Understand what the word relate means. Can this man relate to you? Now, I'm talking to the sisters who upright good sisters. When I say sisters, I'm talking to all women now. The only way this person can relate to you is if he has exalted himself to the state of mind known as manhood. Then he entered the apprenticeship of manhood. If he did not do that, he is not ready for you. You're going to have to keep it real with yourself. Quit settling. What they call that? Unevenly yoked. No one believes in being evenly yoked anymore. People think you're supposed to put up with their BS like Kevin Hart say. Don't let me explain. My BS is your BS. And your BS is not my words. Not. Wait a minute.
Right.
What am I communicating? I'm a parasite now. I'm telling you off rip. I'm troublesome. Why can't have real true harmony? The only way you're gonna have effective communication is through a virtuous lifestyle. It ain't gonna get it can't be less than that. Because when you have effective communication, you are a virtuous person. So, we're going to wrap it up for the night. That's my introduction on what is effective communication. So, once again, I want to go into another meditation as I started the show. Take this mental journey with me. We must heal ourselves. In order to heal ourselves, we must understand that we are the cure. And we are also the disease. Which one are you going to choose to be? Are you going to continue to be the disease? For you to successfully heal, you must first stop communicating that you are the disease. You have an energetic imbalance that can obtain balance again. You are a spiritual being. That's what you must start affirming. Stop calling yourself an alcoholic. Know the meaning of your name. And if your mother gave you the wrong name, if that name is afflicting you spiritually, that's not your name. You causing karmatic problems in your life. You're bringing unnecessary karma in your life when you answer to a name that does not address who you are and adhere to your calling in life. So it's not a name change. You are making a name correction for those who have this issue in your life. You want to heal? Healing starts with effective communication. The body responds to energy. Your voice is energy and vibration. The keys to healing, the keys to establish successful meditation in life, the keys to gain a higher consciousness of the true self is through enlightenment. To establish enlightenment for yourself, one must go beyond and free themselves from the human ego that is connected to carnal things, to carnal thinking.
90 seconds.
You can follow us on Twitter at SynergyOfLife07. You can like our Facebook page by going to facebook.com/SynergyOfLife. You can also email us at SynergyOfLife7@gmail.com. You can find out more about Synergy of Life and other shows that feature on Who Has the Power Radio Network by going to www.whohasthepowershow.com. We also have a YouTube channel. It's Who Has the Power Radio Network, WHTP Radio Network, Synergy of Life, Enterprise, and Mikhail Nube. Check y'all next time for some more of the effective communication.
Do it seem like it's working?
Yeah,
Oh, I guess they had a hard time, you know.
we still alive.
They said 90 seconds when I came and got you. Boy, that's a slow count. Hello. Thanks for tuning in with us. It's off now, right?
What?
We off the air, right?